Good morning. I'm Berks County Commissioner Christian Leinbach, and I want to welcome you to our Commissioners Board meeting for May the 23rd. We're broadcasting live on Microsoft Teams live event, as well as BCTV and YouTube and Facebook Live. At this time, we'll begin with a moment of silence, followed by a pledge to our flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. At this time, I'm going to recognize the assistant to my executive assistant, Vanessa Agüey. And she's going to introduce herself and then read the public comment policy.
Yeah. Hello, I'm Vanessa Agüey, and I go to Wyomissing Area High School, and I'm going to be attending Yale University in the fall. The public comment will be accepted in person and through the Q&A function. Please include your first name, last name, and municipality for all comments. Any comments without name and municipality will not be considered. Each citizen can submit one comment. Comment length is dictated by limitations of the platform being used: Teams, Q&A, Facebook, YouTube. In-person comments will be accepted first, followed by comments submitted virtually. The meeting comment period is limited to a total of 30 minutes, including both in-person and virtual comments. This time period may be extended at the discretion of the board. Please be concise. Comments that are germane to county business will be read during the meeting and should not be considered to be interactive dialogue with the commissioners. The county solicitor shall be the final arbiter of whether a comment is germane and should be read. Any commissioner response to public comment will be done at the discretion of the commissioners.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Are there any additions or corrections for the May 16th meeting minutes? Hearing none, the minutes will stand approved as presented. We did have an executive session on May the 22nd dealing with personnel, contract negotiations, litigation, and real estate. There's no public comment on specific agenda items in person. Is there any online? None online. So we will move to our agenda. Item 1, authorizing under that budget department. Adopt a resolution authorizing 2023 budget appropriations in the amount of $1,645, 2024 budget transfers in the amount of $404,437, and 2024 appropriations in the amount of $312,393 per listing dated May 17th of 2024. We have several items listed under Human Resources. Item 1, authorize the appointment of Lori Snyder to Assistant Director of Nursing at the Berks. Item 2, authorize the appointment of Amy Kettner to Deputy Director Programs at the Berks County Youth Center Shelter. Item 3, ratify, confirm, and approve the promotion of Marcella Parisi from Judicial Coordinator to Judicial Administrative Assistant in Court Administration. Purchasing, we have one item. Adopt a resolution authorizing a recommendation to award and further authorizing the Director of Contracts and Procurement to execute two-year contracts as a result of the request for a proposal for Title I Adult and Dislocated Worker Services at the PA Career Link, Berks County, as follows. It goes to Educational Data Systems out of Dearborn, Michigan. It's a total not to exceed of $1,471,029.43 during the term of July 1 of 2024 through June 30th of 2025. There's several items listed under the commissioners. Item A, adopt a resolution authorizing the Berks County Solicitor's Office to submit claims on behalf of the County of Berks within the following class action settlement matter in regards to payment card, interchange fee, and merchant discount antitrust litigation. Item B, adopt a resolution approving the 2024 Berks County Solid Waste Management Plan and further authorizing its submittal to DEP for final approval. We have Jane Meeks here, who is the Executive Director of the Berks County Solid Waste Authority, to briefly explain what this is about. Jane.
Turning on the microphone for me. We're here again to talk about the Berks County Municipal Waste Management Plan. The plan, as you are aware, is required to be updated every 10 years. So we're here updating the 2014 plan. The plan is required to evaluate the disposal capacity for Berks County's waste over a 10-year plan, and to demonstrate the disposal capacity for that material, which is why we were here on March 21st. At that point, the commissioners approved 14 disposal capacity agreements that will ensure over 5 million tons of waste disposal for Berks County's waste over this planning period. At that point, we submitted that plan to our 73 municipalities for public comment. We also sent the DEP a courtesy copy so that they could begin their review process at the same time. We received one small comment regarding a personnel update from the municipalities. We also did receive some comments from the department, which is why we asked this to be removed from last week's agenda so that we could include those in the plan that was now presented. The plan also must require that we meet at least a 35% recycling goal, and our recycling for 2023 was 44%. So we obviously are meeting that goal as well. Some of the things that are required chapters in the plan are that we must describe the facilities that are accepting our waste, to give an estimated future capacity requirements, to describe our recycling programs, the selection and justification of how we receive those 14 disposal capacity agreements, the location of those facilities, the implementing entity, which at this point is the Berks County Solid Waste Authority, the public function, implementing documents, non-interference, and public participation. The plan includes 12 appendixes, which include our capacity agreements, the list of our community events where waste is generated, wastewater treatment plants, septic haulers, infectious waste generators, sample ordinances and agreements, copies of our SWAC, Solid Waste Advisory Committee meetings, county ordinances, and the public comment that we received specifically from the department. So we'll list those pages of comments that the department had and our response. For the most part, those responses are the plan has been updated.
So for the benefit of our students here, they're here to celebrate teen mental health wellness. We took a picture with them beforehand. Very briefly, let them know how long you've been leading this and some of the activities. You briefly referenced them, but the recycling center, the special recycling programs that occur throughout the year.
Perfect. The Solid Waste Authority, of which I am the executive director, was created in 1992. I was an original board member and came into this position in 2004. The authority is in charge of the waste that is generated by you and I in every commercial establishment, including hospitals in the county of Berks. So the authority also operates hazardous waste collections twice a year. We do paper shredding events, which is very popular. We run a full-time electronic recycling center, and we mostly coordinate with our municipalities, of which there are 73, to help them develop new programming, perhaps yard waste drop-off things, those types of things, and to encourage greater recycling, as well as assisting them with grants. So it's pretty much the function of the authority at this point. And every 10 years, we get the pleasure of updating our plan.
Thank you very much,
Thank
Jane.
you.
You do a great job. I'm now a regular customer of our recycling center on Hilltop Road since Kugel's closed their recycling center up in Hamburg. And I got to tell you, it is the cleanest, neatest, most properly operated recycling center I've ever seen. I am never there when there's trash. Now, there's signs everywhere warning you that even if the staff aren't there, you're under video surveillance. So they're keeping track of you, but it's a great facility.
Well,
it really is.
Our philosophy is if we keep it clean, people will respect the property. And over the years, we have seen that to be the case. So for the most part, if there's trash laying around and I drop something, I'm not going to take the time to pick it up.
Yep.
If it's clean, I'm more apt to do that.
Great job.
But thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Pass that along to my staff.
Moving on, item C, adopt a resolution authorizing the chair to execute a memorandum of understanding signature sheet reflecting the modification of the program year 2024 Berks Partners MOU between and among the County of Berks, Berks County Workforce Development Board, and PA Career Link Berks County One-Stop Partners for the management and operation of PA Career Link Berks County from July 1, 2024 through June 30th, 2026. Item D, adopt a resolution authorizing the chair to execute the program year 2024 Career Link operating budget signature sheet for the period July 1 of 2024 through June 30th of 2026. Item E, adopt a resolution authorizing the appointment of Christy Pisker, MBA, PHR, SHRM, CP Director, Acting Vice President of Human Resources, Glengarry LLC, to the Berks County Workforce Development Board to fill the remainder of a term expiring June 30th, 2026. Ms. Pisker will represent the Business A category on the board effective June 1st of 2024. Item F and G both involve our insurance. I'm not going to read through them. I'm going to ask Mike Malinowski, president of EH&D, our insurance broker, to explain both items F and G.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner. Thank you for having me. It's a great day to be here. My daughter, if anyone's going to State College, was a recent graduate and was in their CAPS program. If anyone's familiar with that, career in psychological services, she used to man the phones people would call when they were struggling with school and work. So she'll be happy. I don't think she's watching today, but she'll be happy to hear that we're doing that. So thank you, Commissioner. I'll try to make this quick and not bore everyone with wonderful property and casualty insurance stuff. However, we just went through the renewal process. I want to thank the county and the staff. It's an extremely long process that we start in January. We pretty much work on it throughout the year, but the county of Berks has a very successful program, and CCAP and our P Corps program have been a big part of that. We handle numerous counties across the Commonwealth. Some of them would love to be in the program that we're in, and right now they're not allowing others to enter that program. The insurance marketplace is just tough. I'm sure you're all seeing it with your own auto and homeowners insurance. We're seeing it with county government. So we're happy to have a partner, and the CCAP created the P Corps program for times like this, for stabilization in the marketplace. So we did see a 12% increase overall. We planned for that from a budgeting process. We knew reinsurance costs were going to be high. So we're still about 5% under the 2024 budget, which is a good thing. We continue to get all the maximum credits we can with the risk manager credit, which quite frankly, we don't have an in-house risk manager and we still get the credit. Don't tell other counties that. I think that's because of our relationship with CCAP. We get a loss control credit, and Commissioner Barnhart helps us with, we get a $30,000 grant each year. That's provided to us for some safety stuff that we work through EHD and the safety committee. So one of the big highlights, obviously, is cyber insurance. The county's done a great job doing the appropriate things to get the maximum limit we can. I can tell you, if we had to go out in the standard marketplace to buy cyber insurance, as we do for other counties, it is, to the tune of sometimes, several $100,000 with retentions up to $250,000. Our deductible is $5,000 in this program. So it's a pretty impressive enhancement we have that most counties are not getting. With that, also said that, EHD is asking for a slight increase to our management fee. We haven't increased it since 2018. As I said in the executive summary, we don't take commission. We like to be transparent with government. It's a unique thing EHD has. If we did take standard commission on a $1.5 billion program, the county would probably pay in excess of $100,000 more. But we think that we've been partnered with the county for for over 30 years, and we think that's fair, especially with some of the other work that we do. So for a 30-page proposal, unless you want me to get into coverages, limits, property values, which
I'll let that up to our students if they want to hear it.
Start to really for yourself. And we really do have a wonderful relationship with the solicitor's office, with Kevin, with Bob, and the commissioners. And it's a very large, complex program. And I don't want to, just gloss over the importance of it, because, if you don't manage it like the county of Berks has, I'm leaving right after this to go to prepare for another county who's just doesn't have the luxury like the county of Berks. They're not in the P Corps program, and quite frankly, they probably can't get in because of their loss experience and the internal measures they have in place. So hopefully in 2 minutes that satisfies the Board of Commissioners. I don't know if anyone else has any particular questions. I did give Commissioner Santoni an update since it was his first renewal privately, so he kind of understood, the history of being with CCAP and the P Corps program, and about marketing it and what that means if we would move, all that good stuff.
I think it's important to note that time, and you're right, our solicitor's office, COO, our budget, I don't know if there are other departments, those are the three. It does take a lot of time, but if it's not done right, it can cost the county millions. It's not lost on me that we are maybe 2 weeks removed from a horrific natural event that occurred in 2014 that had an immense impact on county government, and that was the hailstorm. Vehicles, but for us, buildings with major roof damage, and because our team, including EH&D, did a good job, our coverages were in place. If you remember, it took literally years to finish the final piece, and occasionally you still see a car go around. The car looks like it was at the end of a driving range of golf balls. It's crazy, but that's why you can't predict those types of things. It happened. It was an enormous impact, but we were insured, and we were properly insured, and that's to the credit of our team here and to the credit of EH&D.
And it's an excellent point, Commissioner. I mean, you don't realize that the county, your current policy of $775 million of property values. That's a huge, huge exposures. And to your point, if we're not doing our due diligence, then that's the premium's important the day you pay the bill. After that, it's about what happens next. And that's the importance and the process that we go through on a daily basis, talking to the county, our team.
Well, thank you very much. Appreciate it. So that explains items F and G. We'll move on to item 2, motion to authorize the execution of contract agreements and amendments as set forth on the contract agenda listing dated May 20th of 2024. There are a total of 14 contracts, 5 with Children and Youth Services, 6 jointly with Children and Youth Services and Juvenile Probation, 1 with the Commissioners, 1 with the Berks County Jail, and 1 with Human Resources. And item 3, a motion to authorize execution of the payments and electronic transfers for the week ending May 21st of 2024.
Motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Second. The motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion is carried. We'll move now to reports of our county treasurer and county controller. We'll begin with our county treasurer, Mitch Darkort. Mitch.
Thank you, Mr. Langbach. Today we have an opening balance of $295,238,011.36. We have a balance to clear of $3,986,000 $620.69, leaving us with a balance of $291,251,391.67. That is all, Commissioner. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We'll move now to our controller's report. Our controller, Joe Rutterow. Joe?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. For the week ending May 23rd, 2024, we have a total accounts payable of $9,444,293.51. We have a total payroll of $5,170,569.55 for a total cash disbursement of $14,615,863.06. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Joe. And moving now to our Chief Operations Officer, Kevin Barnhart.
Thank you, Commissioner Leinbach. On behalf of our COO team, we want to commend EHD and P Corp and CCAP for all their efforts on our insurance coverage, especially our budget and finance team and our legal team, headed by Christine Sadler and Bob Patrizio. And we're going to be celebrating an extended weekend. There are at least 12 events celebrating Memorial Day or memorializing Memorial Day. So please take the opportunity of any of these opportunities, as well as if you can't, just take some time out of your schedule just to remember those who gave the ultimate sacrifice in service to our country.
Very good. Well said. We'll move now to commissioners for commissioner comments, and we'll begin with Commissioner Michael Rivera.
Yes, thank you, Commissioner Leinbach. A few items. Mike Malinowski was talking about the P Corp program, which is a pooled risk for counties. It's owned by counties for the counties. And that's important because there's also a separate pool, which is for unemployment compensation. And we just got an email the other day where the county will be receiving a $233,000 dividend payment back. So had it been a private insurance company, this money would have stayed in the hands of the company, but because it's a pooled risk and it's owned by the members, we're receiving $233,638 back. So that's something important because you have to look at the overall picture and the benefit that we get as a county. Another item I want to bring that's extremely important here is, you know, the opioids issue is a huge issue, not only here, but statewide and nationwide as well. There was the opioid settlement trust that counties got millions of dollars to put towards opioids. And got some information from Stan Papadimitro from the Council on Chemical Abuse talking about the use of that money. And at the PA County Opioid Symposium held on May 1st, the Pennsylvania Opioid Misuse and Addiction Abatement Trust indicated they received reports of 381 programs and services statewide. Of those submitted, 50 were deemed to be in compliance with the rest requiring additional information to make a determination. Berks County's report included a description and financial accounting for 29 various programs and services funded through Berks County opioid settlement monies during the time period. Feedback received from 3 different trust members indicated that Berks County received the highest marks for our programs and explanations, and that Berks County is an example of how to effectively both manage and account for these funds. It's great to know that Berks County is proceeding not just correctly, but commendably with regard to the spending of the opioid settlement funds. This was a new endeavor with no real clear rule book. While the national opioid settlement documents outline how the fund should be spent, many of these descriptions are somewhat vague and open to interpretation. The fact is, you do not know if you spent the funds correctly until well after the fact when you submit the required reports. The accolades were received are not surprising given Berks County's longstanding reputation for effective collaboration and cooperation. The Berks County Opioid Settlement Team, comprised of the county and the Council on Chemical Abuse, has worked diligently to identify and address the challenges, not just faced locally, but nationwide, of administering the opioid settlement. Also, many of our local substance use service providers, as well as some other human services providers, have been invaluable in identifying gaps in services, areas that needed expansion, as well as new and innovative programs to address the local opioids crisis. So Kudos to Council on Chemical Abuse and all of our partners in the use of these mental fund dollars, which they're set for the opioids crisis. And in Berks County, we've done a great job with that. And I'm happy to announce that because that's what the monies were there for, to help with that crisis. A few other short items. Attended the GRCA Greater Reading Chamber Alliance dinner last night. A great event. All three of us were there and had a good time. Maybe one of my colleagues will speak a little bit more about it, so I will leave it at that. Also, all three of us were able to participate in the Armed Force Day Parade last Saturday. It's the 76th year it's being held, and it's the longest running Armed Forces Parade in the United States. So unfortunately, the attendance of people going to see the parade was not too high because of the weather, but still a great parade and a great opportunity to pay tribute to the men and women who serve in all 6 branches of our military and to acknowledge their dedication, sacrifices, and the pivotal role they play safeguarding our nation's interests, security, and ideals. On Monday, had the opportunity to actually go to various events. One was the Saree Variety Shop, which is a local small business here on North 9th Street in Reading. They were awarded the SBA Award for Small Woman-Owned Business of the Year for Eastern Pennsylvania. So a small business in Reading was selected among 40 counties in Pennsylvania for that award. So congratulations to Lourdes and Saree Variety Flower Shop. And also on Monday, we had the opportunity to attend the Render Center ribbon cutting at the Fight and Phil Stadium, and all three of us were there as well. This Saturday, it's the Boyertown Midget League Baseball Mackingfield Grand Opening. It's at 9 a.m. So if you're in the Boyertown area or somewhere nearby, please drop by to see the great job they've done there. The process for this campaign to turn it into a first-class youth baseball stadium started in 2018. So it's been 6 years in the working. And on Saturday, they're going to do the grand ribbon cutting. And I believe all three of us will be there as well. One last item is there's no election board meeting today. And I hope you have a meaningful Memorial Day. Please join us in remembering the fallen soldiers who are no longer with us this weekend. I'm not going to say happy Memorial Day because it's a day of remembrance, a day of remembering those who gave their life for us. So if you know of anyone who has a family member that paid the ultimate price for that, please reach out to them and thank them for their family member's service. That's all I have.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Rivera. Commissioner Santoni.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, everyone. First, I want to welcome, I know we had the young lady give the remarks in the beginning of the meeting, but I want to welcome all of her fellow students here for Teen Mental Health Awareness Day. I want to congratulate you and commend you for your work in that area. It's very important. Mental health is huge today, as you all know. And I know we're going to hear a couple speakers in a little bit, but thank you for being here and thank you for your advocacy on that very, very important issue. I also want to thank, I know Mike had to go, Mike Malinowski, for briefing me. It was my first go around through the process of the insurance here at the county, and very important. And he was able to set up, and he reached out to me, and we had an opportunity to talk, and he gave me a very excellent briefing. A couple places that I was at, also probably going to repeat some of the things that Commissioner Rivera said because we go to a lot of the same things. But I also was at the dinner last night, the Greater Reading Chamber Alliance dinner. Brian Westbrook was the speaker. For all you Eagle fans, he did a very nice job. He also, particularly important to me, he's a graduate of Villanova, which is where I went. So he had a great opportunity to, I let him know that I was there, and we had an opportunity to get photos, etc. So it was a very good event. Led by our former commissioner, Lucine Sahelinek, who did a terrific job. Kudos to Lucine. I also attended another event that the Greater Chamber Alliance had, was a legislative breakfast. It was at Albright College. Senator Schwenk and Representative Barton were there to let us know what's happening in Harrisburg. And it's very important what happens in Harrisburg. A lot of it affects Berks County. So it was important to hear from them as they head into a very important budget cycle. June is, I was there, so I know it's typically a crazy month in Harrisburg where they hash out all the budget deals, and hopefully they can come up with some compromises and take care of our county issues that we advocate on so highly about. We also toured, high school students are here. We had an opportunity to tour. We were invited to tour Berks Catholic. And I got back there. Two of my children actually attended there and hadn't been there in a while. Bob Birmingham, the director of institutional advancement, and the new principal, John Petroselli, along with 3 students from the city of Reading, were there to show us around and let us know what's going on there at BC. Armed Forces Day Parade, Commissioner Rivera talked about that. It was a great event. Unfortunately, it rained, so I think that dampened some of the enthusiasm, but it's really important to recognize all those that served in the armed forces for us. And we met a 98-year-old, and we're chatting with a 98-year-old World War II veteran who was great and had an opportunity to ride in the parade last week. Fighting Phil's event, a great facility they have there. I have to tell you, I know we're biased toward that, but that is the best minor league facility in the country. All the renovations that they did, not just to the event center where you can hang out. They're going to have not just during the ball games, but in the off season, you're going to have parties there, parades, weddings, those kind of events. So it's going to be a real asset to that whole experience at the stadium. And Scott Hunsinger and his team do a terrific job there. We also had a tour of the museum, Reading Public Museum. We met the new executive director, Jeff Fleming, who was there. Dr. Anna Whites, former president of Reading Area Community College, who's the chair of the board there, was there as well. And Scott Schweiger, the curator. They gave a great tour and all the things. It's a great place to go, and I encourage people to attend our museum. It's a gem of our community as well. I'll be attending the grand opening on Saturday in Boyertown at Mackey Field to go back to some of the challenges we have. I played baseball back then, and Boyertown was really good, and they usually kicked our butts. So I'm going to go there on a more happy note on Saturday. I'll be attending the Memorial Day Parade in Warnersville on Monday. I encourage anybody from that area. Hopefully the weather's nice to attend. And I'll reiterate what was said earlier about the importance of Memorial Day when we're all out having that day off and having fun with our families and enjoying our picnic time and being at the beach, wherever we might be. It's just to take a pause and a moment to remember those who give us the right to have these freedoms that we have, who gave the ultimate sacrifice. So thank you, Mr. Chairman, and that's all I have.
Thank you very much. Try to be brief here. I want to highlight a couple of things. You heard all of us mention, and I'm looking here to see, and this always happens. How am I going to, hang on one second, try this again. I practiced this beforehand and it worked, but here we go. Aha. So this is a photo from the ribbon cutting at First Energy Stadium. The reason I'm looking down is my scissors were actually sharp, and I didn't want to cut anybody's hand. My 2 colleagues, they didn't trust them with real scissors, so those are plastic scissors. And that's actually the truth, that they're plastic scissors, but that was a great event. My executive assistant and I, a picture right outside the event center. We also, I don't know if anyone mentioned, but all 3 of us attended the Berks Encore breakfast. Redner's was honored as the awardee this year. It actually was amazing to see all the different programs that Redner's is involved in with Berks Encore, helping our seniors. This is Ryan Redner accepting the award from Patrick Dolan of Dolan Construction, who was the recipient last year. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. I'm not going to touch on everything that my 2 colleagues have. They've already shared, I think, very well. I want to pick up one item, a takeaway for me from Brian Westbrook's speech, and it fits well with the teams. And you may get the connection, you may not. I'm not going to dive into it deeply. But Brian Westbrook highlighted lessons he learned in football. And there was one person he picked out, a colleague that he played with on the Philadelphia Eagles, that he learned a tremendous lesson. His name is Terrell Owens. Now, from the outside, and I'm a Eagles fan, I wasn't a big fan of Terrell Owens. seemed to be all kinds of problems going on all the time. But here's what he shared, and it's pretty powerful. He said when Terrell Owens joined the team and got their first practice, it didn't matter if he was catching a ball in their own red zone at the 20-yard line, or not their own 20-yard line. If he caught the ball, he ran 80 yards to make a touchdown. If he was in the red zone, he ran the 20 yards. And the other guy said, this is practice. Catch the ball. He said, I don't do that. I don't practice to catch the ball and stop. I practice to score touchdowns. And he said, very shortly after that, every single player began to do the same thing. And it was a great year for the Eagles. And I bring that point out that often we think we know what's going on in life, in other people's lives, in sports, and we know so much better. And I'm one of those people. I had a certain perspective that Terrell Owens was trouble for the Eagles. But I tell you what, that first year that Terrell Owens was there, Brian Westbrook credits him for making a really good team great. And that was the key thing that he pointed to. I thought that was a powerful example. The next thing I want to highlight, and we're going to be highlighting this, I don't know if we have a slide or not, for the July 8th, we will be having a special ceremony down in the main lobby celebrating July 8th, 1776, when the Berks County Liberty Bell that hung in the courthouse at the time was rung, calling people together for the first reading of the Declaration of Independence. We'll talk more about the event itself, but that will be it's a Monday, so it's July the 8th at noon down in the lobby. It's open to the public. But the one thing I want to highlight today is a core message, and I wrote it down so I can be to the point. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. It may be the most famous line in the entire Declaration. All men, all people are created equal. We must rekindle this simple and powerful meaning of these words. All people are created equal. If we define all as something other than its plain dictionary meaning, it is no longer all but some. If we define all as specific groups, it's no longer all but some. If we define all around gender, race, religion, or anything else, it's no longer all but some. We need to stop dividing our nation into groups and start embracing the principles of the Declaration and embrace all people as endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights. This is the only way we can truly move forward as a United States of America. We must embrace the ideal that the words, all men, all people are created equal, either mean exactly that, or they are simply words from history with little value or meaning. The entire Declaration, indeed, the entire nation rests on the ideal that all people are created equal. Without this, there is no American dream for all, and there is no liberty and justice for all. The Declaration did not create a government or even delineate a form of government. Instead, it did three things. It established the colony's grievances against England and the crown. It outlined the concept of God-given liberty and rights, and it established the purpose of government, and it said was to secure these rights for all people. And in order to do that, we must embrace that promise for this generation and the generations to follow, that all people are created equal. I encourage you, if you're watching or if you're here and you haven't taken the opportunity to go down and look at the Berks County Liberty Bell. There are copies of the Declaration in English and there are copies in Spanish. On July the 8th, you'll hear the entire Declaration read by our sheriff as it was in 1776. And you'll hear Laurel Miller read the most famous portion of it in German, because in 1776, the Declaration was read in both English and German. The last thing I want to touch on is Monday is Memorial Day. And Commissioner Rivera, you highlighted it so often in America, and I was guilty of this in the past. I get all the holidays about our country mixed up. Memorial Day and running in with Armed Forces Day and with 4th of July and with Veterans Day. They are all unique and separate holidays. And of all of those, Memorial Day is the most somber, because Memorial Day is about people who gave the ultimate sacrifice. Those of you that know me know I love probably the most famous Memorial Day poem, and I'm going to share that and close my comments. It's from World War I. It was written by Lieutenant Colonel John McCrae. Lieutenant Colonel McCrae was in the Canadian military. He was stationed in France. A friend of his, a close friend, was killed in a major battle, and he sat down and wrote this poem. In Flanders field, where poppies blow, between the crosses row on row that mark our place, and in the sky a lark still singing sweetly flies, scarce heard amid the guns below. We are the dead. Short days ago we lived, felt dawn, saw sunsets glow, loved and were loved, and now we lie in Flanders field. Take up our quarrel with the foe. To you, from failing hands we throw the torch. Be yours to hold it high. If ye break faith with us who die, we shall not sleep, though poppies grow in Flanders field. With that, we'll open it up. Yes, Commissioner Rivera.
I just want to add two things briefly. One, the National Moment of Remembrance, which was established by Congress, asks Americans to stop at 3 p.m. local time on Monday, just for 1 minute, to pause in an act of national unity to remember those who died for our country. So remember, Monday at 3 p.m., set your alarm so you can pause for a moment for 1 minute to remember that. The other thing I want to bring is I want to thank the youth that are here today. May is National Mental Health Month, Awareness Month, something that the County Commissioners Association is working on. Two of our priorities of the 8 are around mental health. And about 2-3 weeks ago, I had the opportunity to go down to the Capitol in Harrisburg. We had a press conference there together with our district attorney, together with a warden and some other people. And after that, I had the opportunity to go and meet with different staff from the leadership in the legislature, be it members of the House of Representatives and of the Senate as well. I don't know if you're aware, but in 2012, the state government cut base mental health funding by 10%, and they have not raised it since then. So there has not been a single dollar increase in base mental health funding since 2012. And the County Commissioners Association is asking the legislature and the governor to support a $250 million increase in mental health funding. And that's something that we're proposing. So something I will ask you, if you're serious about mental health, I would ask you as a group to reach out to all Berks County legislatures, representatives, and senators, and let them know the importance of supporting the increase in mental health based funding that CCAP is asking for $250 million. If you want some wording around that, I'd be happy to provide that. I have that from the County Commissioners Association of Pennsylvania, but that's something that you can do to have an impact. And why is that important? Because when I was there talking to the staff of the leadership, I said, what can we do to help move this forward? And they said, you have to reach out to all the rank and file legislators and have them push that up to the leadership. So it's important that you all reach out to all of the Berks County legislators and say, you know what, we need this increase in mental health funding to help support mental health programs. So that's a challenge I'm going to put on you. It needs to be done by March 31st because they're working on the budget right now. I'm sorry. Thank you. May 31st, March 31st, passed already. But again, I challenge you to do that. And if you do want the wording or some talking points, I have that for you as well. So challenge I'm putting out to you. Okay. Thank you.
Great point, Commissioner Rivera. Thank you for sharing both of those items. Any comments from our row officers?
I don't have anything to add at this time, Commissioner.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just wanted to share with the board that I will be spending my Memorial Day weekend out at the 108th running of the Indianapolis 500.
Oh, wow.
It is one of the greatest spectacles in racing. Of course, we've heard that for years, and it is a huge tribute to our armed forces, first responders. It is a really moving event. But I wanted to point out that the Indy 500 has 33 cars that qualify for that race. So it's 11 rows of 3. In the first row, we have Team Penske has all 3 spots. So being the fact that there's that Berks connection with Team Penske, Scott McLaughlin, Will Power, and Josef Newgarden are Team Penske holding the 1, 2, and 3 spot. And the qualifying time for Scott was 234 miles an hour. There's a couple percentage points after that. And the difference between the number 1 and the 33rd, Graham Rahal was the 33rd at 229 miles an hour. And so they're moving. And you know, you're talking about the best of the best in racing. And there's only 7 mile an hour difference between the first and the last driver. So it is an exciting race. It is a great tribute. It's a great way. I haven't found many professional sporting events that pay as much attention to our military as the Indy 500. And I believe NASCAR is probably a close second.
Very similar.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. With that, we're going to move to public comment. And we have 2 individuals. Lynn, if you can please make sure the microphone is on. The first person I'm going to recognize is Caitlin Bree Humbles. If you could stand up, you have 3 minutes, and introduce yourself, what municipality you live in, if you know. If you don't, that's okay. What school you're from, and discussing teen mental health.
All right. Good morning, esteemed commissioners and community members. My name is Caitlin Humbles, and I'm a graduating senior at Conrad Weiser High School. Today, I am speaking on behalf of the Jewish Healthcare Foundation's PA Youth Advocacy Network. Thank you for the opportunity to address you today on an issue that profoundly affects our community, the mental health and well-being of teenagers such as myself. I am here to advocate for the recognition of May 23rd, 2024 as Teen Mental Health Awareness Day in Berks County. I would like to start by asking the following students to stand: Vanessa, Samantha, Tyler, and Grant. These remarkable individuals are strong voices for the PA Youth Advocacy Network. Your presence here today underscores the significance of our mission. Thank you. Teen Mental Health Awareness Day aims to enhance community understanding of the mental health challenges that teens face as a crucial part of their overall well-being. This day is not only about increasing awareness of mental health resources, but also about highlighting the disparities that exist in access to these resources. It seeks to give a platform for the voices of teen advocates from the PA Youth Advocacy Network, Voice Up Berks, and youth throughout our county. The preliminary 2024 PAYS data presents a concerning picture. 38% of students in grades 6 through 12 in Berks County have experienced feelings of depression in the past year. 15% have engaged in self-harm, and 25% have used alcohol at some point in their lives. These statistics are alarming and highlight the urgent need for action. Many schools in our county face a critical shortage of counselors, leaving students without necessary support for their mental health. This gap highlights the need for more counselors in every school. Additionally, it is imperative that all school staff receive comprehensive training and have access to resources to respond effectively to students' mental health needs. Recognizing the importance of mental health days off from school is also essential. These days allow students to prioritize their emotional well-being, emphasizing that mental health is as important as academic performance. I urge you to recognize the importance of teen mental health dialogue and policy by declaring May 23rd, 2024 as Teen Mental Health Awareness Day in Berks County. We take a significant step towards supporting the mental health and well-being of our youth. Thank you for your time and your commitment to this critical cause.
Thank you very much. At this time, I'll recognize Zachary Sage Carter, same topic. And again, let us know what school you represent.
Hi, my name is Zachary Carter. I'm a freshman at Reading High School. I was asked today to recognize my other members of Youth Mental Health Ambassadors of Berks County. So could you all please stand? E.T. Lindsay. These students who are here with me today. The students who are here with me today all truly believe that mental health is such an important topic, but is extremely stigmatized. One statistic I would like to start off by mentioning is that 60% of students in Berks County in 2020 said that when they experience abuse or bullying, it affects them mentally rather than physically. The number is now at an average of 68%, an 8% increase in 3 years, which is a big difference from what it used to be. I joined this mental health group because it is such an important topic to me and it's such an important topic to my fellow students. Schools do not have enough counselors. Teachers are not being trained in how to handle these mental health crises, and so many students' mental health is going unchecked. They're unable to get access to the help they need. Another statistic is that specifically the LGBTQIA community has faced bullying, harassment, and discriminatory policies, which had a severe impact on their mental health, with 56% of LGBTQ youth who wanted access to mental health care being unable to get it. We need increased recognition of the issues the community and youth face. Another statistic is that 35% of students say they believe they are no good at all, 16% seriously committed suicide, and finally, 6% have attempted suicide in the past year. 6% to the average person seems like a widely insignificant number, but in a county as big as ours, that is so many students just like myself who have been less fortunate. These students haven't had access to the mental health resources I and my other peers may have had. These statistics show us why more teachers and all staff should be trained on how to handle mental health crises and why a day should be recognized for youth mental health. Students deserve to know that they aren't alone and that they aren't the only people struggling and that their voices are heard. I thank you again for letting me speak on such an important topic.
Thank you very much. There's no other public comment, so we'll end the public comment. I will make one suggestion, and Anne Marie, maybe what you can do is connect them with Pam Seaman. Pam Seaman is our mental health and developmental disabilities department head, and I have been involved in multiple meetings with BCIU, the Berks County Intermediate Unit. Every single school has a mental health staff person. There are other issues that impact the utilization of those services. And I'm not going to get into them right now, but I think it would be a very worthwhile conversation to find out what is in place. Commissioner Rivera pointed out very well, and I was here in 2012. I remember that budget cut, and for some reason, governors and legislators, both parties, so don't forget about making this an RD or red or blue, it isn't, have said, yes, mental health is a critical issue. It needs to be funded, but it isn't being funded at the county level. Last year, some money went to the schools, but not to the county, and the county is where the anchor programs take place. We work within the schools. We work with a variety of outpatient services. Mental health, and I've said this, and my colleagues have heard me say this, mental health is probably the number one issue that counties face across the United States. If you look at our jail population, and I just got the data yesterday, I had my meeting with our warden, and let me just pull these numbers up. I don't want to misstate them. We have something called a mental health roster. So our current population in the jail is 753 people. When you look at the mental health roster, there's 4 categories: category A, B, C, and D. A and B, I'm not saying they're not a concern, but A and B probably are a number of us in the room that fit in the category of A and B. It's relatively minor mental health issues. C and D are more serious. C is a category of people who are in active treatment and on psychotropic medication. And D are considered seriously mentally ill. So 753. Category C, we have 385 inmates in category C and 96 in category D. If you do the math, that's almost 70% of the people in our county jail are dealing with serious, at various levels, mental health issues. That is an issue across the United States. I sit on the board of directors of the National Association of Counties. We are doing a lot to address it, but there are enormous gaps because state and federal governments they push the issue off, generally speaking, on counties. And it needs to be resolved because it can't be fixed the way things are today. But perspective, I want you to know that you're dealing with an issue that is serious. Sometimes, and I'm not being critical of anyone, but sometimes we tackle issues that people say, I didn't even know that was an issue. And it may be an issue, but it's a very small scale issue. Teen mental health and mental health in general is an enormous issue and maybe one of the most serious impacting. If you look at other departments besides the jail, it's a big issue in our children youth services. It's a big issue in our area agency on aging. It's a big issue in our Veterans Affairs department. A lot of veterans dealing with mental health issues. So thank you very much for bringing awareness to this. And thank you, and I don't have the name of the group, but the Jewish Federation, I think, really put this effort together. That's why we have students from a number of different schools for understanding the importance of this issue. That brings us to the end of our agenda.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
The meeting stands adjourned.